Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Lee's class. Today we're going to learn more about Pythagorean relationship. So last class we learned the relationship between the side lengths of a right triangle. So say this leg is 7 meter and this leg is 10 meter and we want to calculate the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, so remember everyone, the hypotenuse is the longest side facing the right angle. Okay, all right, so what we do is we're gonna find the area of a square on this side, which will be 7 squared. Okay, 7 squared, and we're going to find the area of a square on this side. That will be 10 squared. And we're gonna find the area of a square on this side. That will be c squared. So basically everyone, the square of 7 plus square of 10 is equal to square of c. Okay, now we're going to calculate it. 7 squared is 49. 10 squared is 100, and that is c squared. 49 plus 100 is 149 equals c squared. Then what is c, everyone? What number do you have to multiply twice to get 149? So what is it, everyone? So the answer is square root of 149. Okay, so when c squared is 149, then c is square root of 149, and we're gonna calculate it using your calculator. So square root of 149 equals 12.2. So near this tenth of a meter, tenth is 1 decimal place, so 12.2. So we're gonna round down because you have 0 here. So the answer is 12.2 meters. Alright everyone, when you use your calculator, so square root sign is over here for my calculator. To use the square root sign, you hit second button and this button and hit the number like this. So depending on your calculator, you will have a different buttons. So mine has a square root button over here. I have to hit second button, or sometimes you have shift button instead of second. So and you can just hit second button and hit the square root button. And sometimes you don't have to hit second button or shift button to get a square root sign. So the square root sign is like just on the button. In that case, you don't have to hit second or shift sign. Okay? All right. Let's move on. Example 2. Example 2. So this is example 1, and this should be example 2. It's a typo. Okay, determine whether each triangle is the given side length is a right triangle or not. So to become a right triangle, the longest side should be the hypotenuse, and 2 other legs should be shorter than the hypotenuse, right? So we're gonna figure out if this is a right triangle or not. So what you do is you just square each number, and see square of 6 and square of 6 equals, see if it is 9 squared. Okay, the square of 6 is 36, square of 6 is 36, and that is 72. Is this 9 square? What is 9 square? 9 square is 81. So 72 is not 9 squared. Therefore, this is not a right triangle. No, not a right triangle. Let's do this one. So we're gonna square each number. So this is the hypotenuse. Circle the hypotenuse. So we're gonna square 7 and square 24 and see if you get 25 squared. So let's test it using your calculator. 7 squared plus 24 squared. So that is 625. 25 squared. 625. They are equal. So 625 equals 625. They're equal. So therefore, it is a right triangle. Okay, next. Hypotenuse is the longest side. So let's add 5 squared and 12 squared and see if it is 13 squared. Okay. 5 squared plus 12 squared. So that is 169, and 13 squared is 169. So therefore, 169, this is 169, this is 169. They're equal, so it is a right triangle. All right, let's move on. Okay, a set of 3 whole numbers that satisfies the Pythagorean theorem is called a Pythagorean triple. So for example, 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple because 3 squared, which is 9, 14 squared, which is 16, add them up, which is 25, and 5 squared is 25. So this satisfies the Pythagorean theorem. So we call 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple. So this is a Pythagorean triple, this is a Pythagorean triple, but this is not a Pythagorean triple. Okay? Let's move on. Example 3. Find the length of the hypotenuse. Give the length to 1 decimal place. Okay, to solve the problem, we're going to find the hypotenuse. So remember, Pythagorean theorem, when you have a triangle, the formula for Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Alright? So we're going to look at this triangle and find the hypotenuse. And hypotenuse is the length, is the side facing the right angle. It's the longest length. Okay? Alright? So this is the hypotenuse, and hypotenuse should be always isolated. Okay, so what we're going to do is 4 squared plus 4 squared. Let this be c squared. 4 squared plus 4 squared is 16 plus 16. That should be c squared. And 16 plus 16 is 32. C squared. Okay. Then c, if c squared is 32, then c should be root 32. So square root of 32. So let's calculate it using your calculator. So square root of 32. 5.65. So we're going to find to 1 decimal place. So here we have 5. Would you round up or down? So if we're going to round it up, then that is 5.7. 5.7 centimeter will be the answer. Okay? Example 4. Find the unknown length to 1 decimal place. Everyone, we're going to find the hypotenuse. So this is the hypotenuse because it's the longest side facing the right angle. And as I said, the hypotenuse should be isolated. Then 5 centimeter and we don't know what this is, we're going to let this be a. Therefore, a squared plus 5 squared is 10 squared. So be careful, everyone. Some students think this is the hypotenuse. They write, oh, 5 squared plus 10 squared equals a squared. This is not right, okay? 10 is not isolated. 10 should be isolated because it's a hypotenuse. So a squared plus 5 squared equals 10 squared. Then a squared plus 25 equals 100. Okay, to find a, we're going to isolate a by subtracting, because you have plus 25. So we're going to subtract 25 from both sides to get rid of plus 25. Then plus 25 minus 25, this will cancel. Then I have a squared equals 100 minus 25, which is 75. A squared is 75. Then a is the square root of 75. Let's use your calculator to find the answer. Square root of 75 is 8.66. So let's keep one decimal, 8.66. We're going to round up. So the answer is 8.7 centimeter. So this notation is about approximately 8.7 centimeter. There are more questions, everyone. So I want you to pause the video and try those questions. So what you have to do is find the hypotenuse first. Hypotenuse. So highlight the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is always the longest side facing the right angle. Facing the right angle. And as I said, hypotenuse should be isolated. So first, you're going to set up an equation before you solve for x. Go ahead, everyone. Alright, let's do it together. So x squared should be isolated. So this will be 5 squared plus 3.5 squared. Then 5 squared plus 3.5 squared is 37.25. Then x is square root of 37.25. .1. So we're going to keep one decimal. So the answer is 6.1. Next question. 15 squared should be isolated. So x squared plus 7 squared. Then, so what we're going to do is we're going to calculate it. 7 squared is 49. And what about 15 squared? 225. So x squared plus 49, 225. To find x squared, we're going to subtract 49 from both sides. Then 225 minus 49 becomes 176. So 176. Then x is square root of 176. So square root of 176. So that is 13.26. So let's keep one decimal. 13.3. Okay, again, this is the hypotenuse. 4.5 squared plus x squared. So hypotenuse should be isolated. And let's calculate it. So 4.5 5 squared, 20.25 plus x squared, 12.3 squared, that is 151.29. So we're going to find x. So to find x, we have to isolate x. So remember, if there's a no sign, this is plus, positive. So we're going to subtract 20.25 to isolate x squared. So 151.29 minus 20.25. So that is 131.04. That is x squared. Okay, then x should be square root of 131.04. Let's calculate it. So 11.447. So if you round it to one decimal, it is 11.4. Alright, did you guys get the same answer? So that is it for this section. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.